Welcome to reality. You're now on the Code of Mind channel. Something strange just happened in science. Researchers have successfully uploaded the brain of a living insect into the cloud. Yes, you heard that right. A real fly. Not an AI pretending to behave like one. Not a simulation trained on data. A digital copy of its actual brain. About 125,000 neurons and 50 million synapses, reconstructed from a real connectome using electron microscopy. Engineers connected this digital brain to a virtual body inside a physics engine. And something incredible happened. The fly came to life, it walks, it cleans its wings, it reacts to its environment. It behaves exactly like a real fly. But the most disturbing part is this. The fly has no idea that its world is fake. For the fly, the virtual environment is simply reality. And this is where things start to get uncomfortable. Because if a consciousness can exist inside code, what makes us so sure that we are not inside code as well? Think about it. The fly's brain doesn't know that its body is just a 3D model. Its food is just pixels. Its world is just a simulation running on a server. But for the fly, that world is completely real. And this brings us to one of the most disturbing philosophical ideas ever proposed, the simulation hypothesis. Back in 2003, philosopher Nick Bostrom suggested something shocking. If even one advanced civilization develops the technology to simulate conscious beings, then millions or even billions of simulated worlds could exist. But there would only be one base reality, which means statistically, the probability that we are living in the original reality becomes extremely small. Until recently, this was just a philosophical idea. But now something has changed. We have already simulated the brain of a living organism. A small one, yes. But it's a beginning. Today it's a fly, tomorrow it could be a mouse, then a monkey, and eventually, a human. Imagine your brain scanned neuron by neuron, uploaded to a server, connected to a virtual body, and you wake up inside a world that feels completely real. Would you even notice the difference? Probably not. And that's exactly what makes this so unsettling, because if consciousness is substrate independent, meaning it doesn't care whether it runs on neurons or silicon, then reality becomes a question of software, not physics, not matter. Software. And suddenly many strange things about our world start to look different. Take déjà vu, for example. That strange feeling that you've already experienced a moment before. Maybe it's just a glitch in memory, or maybe it's a small rendering correction in the system. Then there's the Mandela effect. Thousands of people remembering events that never officially happened. Different spellings, different logos, different historical details. Is it mass misremembering, or could it be something like a version update, a branch of reality rewritten in the code? And then there's quantum physics, the famous double-slit experiment, particles behaving differently when they are observed. Reality literally changing depending on whether someone is looking. In a simulation, that makes perfect sense. Why render the entire universe at full resolution all the time? A smart system would only render what is being observed. Just like modern video games do. Only load what the player can see. Save the processing power. Now think about how fast technology is evolving. We already have neural implants, brain-computer interfaces, people controlling computers with their thoughts, companies working on full brain-machine integration. Uploading consciousness no longer sounds like science fiction. It sounds like the next software update. And if one day people begin uploading their minds into digital environments, then the number of simulated worlds will explode. Billions, trillions. And statistically speaking, that means it becomes far more likely that we are already inside one. And maybe the experiment with the fly is not just a technological breakthrough. Maybe it's a mirror, a tiny hint of something much bigger. Because right now we are watching a digital fly living inside a virtual world through a screen on our phones. And we laugh at the idea that the fly thinks it's real. But what if someone else is watching us the exact same way? A world inside a world. A simulation inside another simulation. The fly thinks it's alive. And maybe, so do we. And maybe that's why our culture keeps returning to the same idea. Think about the movies we grew up with. The Matrix, The Truman Show, The 13th Floor. For years, we treated them like science fiction, just stories, just entertainment. But what if they were never meant to be just movies? What if they were warnings, or even something stranger? What if they were manuals? Think about it. In The Truman Show, the main character slowly realizes that his entire world is a constructed environment. Everything around him, the people, the sky, the events, was part of a controlled system. In the 13th Floor, people discover that their entire city exists inside a simulation running on another level of reality. And in The Matrix, humanity lives inside a system so convincing that almost no one questions it. Until someone does. Maybe these films were not predictions, maybe they were reflections. Little glimpses of an idea that humanity is slowly beginning to understand. Because once you accept that consciousness can exist inside code, the next question becomes impossible to ignore. What if reality is not something we discovered, but something we logged into? What if this world is not the final level, but just the beginning of the game? Maybe the real question is no longer, are we living in a simulation? Maybe the real question is, if we are, how do we play? Because if this really is a simulation, then the rules might be very different from what we were taught. And the moment you begin asking questions, you might already be stepping outside the script. Thank you for being with me on this channel. I wish you the best possible branch of reality. Subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video. Take care.